I can see.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So this is how we are going to. So in the last session, already we have discussed about this thing, but I'm going to explain you one more time. Okay. Right. So this is the execute SQL task. Okay. In this execute SQL task, this query returns all the list of employee names. So I have 14 employee names. Okay. I have 14 employee names. So this query returns that 14 employees in names information. So I want to store whatever the information is coming from this query into one variable, that is table var. Okay, this is a user defined variable I have created. So if you want to see that variable, come here. Where is that table variable? Yes, this is the table variable. And what is the data type for this table variable? Object data type. If you want to store a table value result, that means if you want to keep a single value like 7788, if you want to keep like a Scott, this is a single value, right? So you can create a string data type. But if you want to store more than single value, in that situation you have to take object data type. The data type is object data type we have to take. Okay, right. So that I have taken, and I have and you have to take the result set type is full result set. If you are getting single value, you have to take single row. If you are getting more than single value, you have to take full result set. Got it? So I don't have any input parameters. If I have any input parameters, you have to map that input parameter else here. So right now I don't have any input parameters. I have some variable, and that result, so whatever the result is coming from this query, this employee name information, I want to keep into this variable table var. Okay, right. So after that, what I'm going to do here, so in that variable we have stored all employee name informations, 14 employee names. So each employee name I want to display by using script task. So for that I'm going to use for each loop container. So in that variable table var variable having 14 employee names, so for each employee name I want to loop this, and I want to execute this script task inside script task, and I want to display that values. Got it? Right. If you are coming to this for each loop container, so if you are coming to the collections, okay, so in these collections there are different kind of enumerators we have in for each loop container. Okay, so based on that enumerator, it is trying to loop that one. So in here I'm going to select for each ADO enumerator. So what this for each ADO enumerator is doing, so you have one variable table data type variable, right? So object data type variable, so that variable having a list of names in the that particular variable. So if you want to loop, for example, if this variable having 14 employee names, if you want to loop this employee names, this for each loop container, it is looping 14 times. So whatever the task you have put inside this for each loop container, it will execute that many times. So this table variable having 14 employee names. Got it? This having 14 employee names. So these for each loop container will execute 14 times. So obviously it is executing 14 times. This script task also executing 14 times. Got it? Right. So what I'm going to do here, so in this variable I'm going to, this variable, from where you are getting this variable, so in this execute SQL task you have already stored the employee name information into this variable. So that variable I am going to loop here. Right. So if you are coming to the variable mappings, so each time, for example, this table name, this table variable having 14 employee names, right? So the each time it is iterating. So whenever it is iterating for each employee name, I want to keep that employee name into a variable, that is this variable. So in the first iteration, if you see in the here, select star from employee name from emp. This is our data, right? So these are the employee names. So the first time the king, for the king it is iterating, and this result variable keeping that value king. And the second time Blake, and the third time Clark. So one value by value it is storing into this variable for each iteration. So the first time whenever it is iterating, right? So this for each loop is trying to execute first time, the value is coming to this result is king, and the second time it is going to loop it, that is Blake. So in this way it is trying to put inside this variable 14 each time. At a time it is saving only single value, but each iteration that variable value having king Blake like that. So whenever the value is coming, so whenever this for each loop container is executing, so I'm going to display whatever the result value is coming from here. I want to write a small script to display and to execute this script task to display whatever the result is existing in this result variable. Okay, how you can write down the structure, I mean script task. So what exactly this script task, right? So this script task, if you want to write down any customized functions, customized applications, like by using C# or a VB script, you can use any of one language. Okay, you can use any of one language, and you can write down that languages, and you can design some application in the sense, for example, my requirement is I want to display the value, whatever the value is existing in that particular table, I want to display that value. How we can display, right? So for that you can come here. So if you're double clicking on this script task, if you see read only variables. So what do you mean by read only variables? Read only variables means, so we can access the data from these variables. Okay, we can access the data from this variable. And what about the read write variables? So if you are browsing these read write variables means, so you can write down a value to that particular variable also. Okay, and you can use that variable outside, right? So how you are browsing this result variable? So this result variable is nothing but, so whatever this variable is existing in for each loop container, so each time that value is coming to this result. So the king Blake like that. Okay, right, click OK. So after that you have to write down the script inside here, edit script. So if you are coming here, so the block where you are going to write down the script is here only, right? So you forget about all these things, so you have to write down the script here. The script is this one. What exactly this script? This is a variable, right? This is our user defined variable, that is a result variable. So in this result variable, each iteration it stores the employee name. It will do the 14 times iteration, because that variable having 14 employee names. So each time whenever it is iterating, each employee name is coming into this variable. Got it? So what I'm going to do here, I want to assign this variable value into this variable. So finally I want to show as a message box, I want to display this. This is a simple code of the C#. Okay, I'm going to save this one, click OK, click OK. So whatever the script, VB script, or which script you are going to write down here, that you can select here, scripting language. Okay, that language you can select here, right. So now I'm going to execute this one, right click, execute the container. right? See, the first it is displaying King. Got it? So that is King. Next, Blake, Clark, Jones, Scott. So this way it has to display the values. I want to click on here. Blake is coming. Clark, Young, Scott, Allen, Ward, Martin, Turner, Adams, James, Miller. Right. So this way it is displaying all the records for each iteration. Got it? What I did here, so I have taken one execute SQL task. This is a sequence container, right? So why I have taken this sequence container? So this sequence container is just clubbing all these tasks into one unit, right? If you are not keeping this execute SQL task and this for each loop container script task into this sequence container, you can't execute at a time, right? So you have to execute either the entire package or you have to execute individually. If you are keeping into this sequence container, you can execute entire container. It will execute the execute a SQL task and for each loop container at a time. Got it? Right. So how I have configured this one? So this is execute SQL task, and inside this you have to take the connection, and this is a query. This query returns this list of employee names: King, Blake, Clark, all these things. Okay, and so I want to put this result into one variable. So the result type is full result set. If you are getting only single row, you have to take single row, single value, then you have to select a single row result set. If you are not getting any result from this execute SQL statement, you can make it none. So right now I am getting more than single value, that I have selected full result set. Okay, and I don't have any parameters. If you have the parameters, you can map here. So come to result set. So the variable is table var. So this is my user defined variable I have created, and the data type is object data type, because I am going to store more than single value, and the result name you can put 0. Okay, right click OK. And after that I'm going to take one for each loop container. So this for each loop container will do iterations for a particular based on the enumerator. So the enumerator type is for each ADO enumerator means, so in this ADO object means it is a object data type variable. So in that object data type variable, if you have 14 rows or 100 rows or 10 rows, it will loop that many number of times. Okay, so each time whenever the row is coming, each time for each value I'm going to store into one variable. Okay, so that variable I'm going to display in script task. So this script task is for write down in some C# and VB scripts. Okay, so here you have to select what variables you are going to read and what variables you are going to write in your C# programming. Okay, after that you have to edit the script. Right, so this is the block you are going to write down your statement. So this is a simple select statement you have to write down. Got it? Right. This way you can use a sequence container, execute SQL task for each loop container. The enumerator type is for each ADO enumerator and script task. Got it? Right. So now I am going to use one more requirement. That is for that I am going to take one sequence container. Come to toolbox. Where is this sequence container? So always you should give proper names for this containers. So this container is for looping names. So this container name I'm going to give looping Excel files. Right, so my requirement is I have two files, I have two Excel files. So employee okay, this is one file. Okay, and so employee one file is there, and this is one file, and this is one file. If you see, all the structure is same: employee number, employee name, salary. Okay, and so if you're coming to this one, it is something different, right? Yes, this is also same. Okay, so I want to load these three files: emp file, emp1 file, emp2 file. Okay, those three files having same structure, that is employee number, employee name, employee salary columns, right? And the data is different. So if you are getting three files or more than three files, more than one file you have in a one folder. Okay, so I want to load these three folders data into one SQL server table. Okay, I want to loop these Excel files. Got it? I want to loop these Excel files. I want to delete this one. These three files I want to loop. Got it? Right. I want to make it one more folder inside here. Right, so these three files I'm going to loop. So for that, what I'm going to take here, I want to take one for each loop container. Right, so inside this for each loop container, so I'm going to configure this for each loop container first. So you just double click, go to collections. So what kind of enumerator you have to select? So initially we have selected for each ADU enumerator. For what? So we have selected this for, guys, give a second. Okay, right. So this for each ADO enumerator we have selected for what purpose? So that is for if you have a variable, and in that variable if you have some employee names or whatever the rows, for each row you are going to loop this one. Then you have to select for each ADO enumerator. For example, if you have some number of Excel files or text files, any kind of files in a folder, if you want to loop this for each loop container for each file. For example, if you have five files in a folder, so this for each loop container will execute 5 times. So for that you have to select for each file enumerator. Okay, and if you are coming to here, the folder path you have to give here. So what is the folder path? Where you are saving this all these files? This is the folder path. I'm going to give that folder path here. And what is the file? If you are giving a file name static here, so what it will do? It will loop only for that file. So you have to give any similarity in between that files. So what is the similarity in between that files? All files are .xlsx files, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give only .xlsx. Right, so before the prior to dot whatever the name, that is employee name or emp1 or emp2 whatever, but we are going to make it xlsx is the common one. If you are making here text, if you have any text files in that folder, it will load only text files. If you are making a xls, it will take only xls files. If you are making csv, it will take only csv files. So now I'm going to load only xlsx files, right? So that's why I'm putting xlsx files. So what about this fully qualified? So it is retrieving the file name. It is retrieving the file name. The file name retrieving means, so there are three options. If you are selecting fully qualified path, that means it will take the fully qualified path of that particular file. The first file it is going to take is emp file. So that fully qualified path means total folder path slash the file name emp.xlsx. So this is fully qualified path. What about the name and extension? What about the name and extension? The name means the file name and extension means .xlsx. Got it? And the name only means, if you are selecting this name only means it will take only emp file name. Right? So I want to take this information, this fully qualified path, the folder path and file name and extension. So that's why I'm going to select first option, because so it will, without having the fully qualified path means if you have only file name, that's not useless, right? So you have to find out that file is located in which folder. So for that I'm going to take fully qualified path. Right. So what I'm going to do here, so after I'm getting the fully qualified path of this folder slash the file name, what I'm going to do here, so I want to keep this each time. So whenever it is looping for each file, right, so it is taking each file information, each file fully qualified path. So that path I'm going to put into one variable. Okay, so what is that variable? So I'm going to create a new variable, that variable name file path. Okay, and the data type is string data type only. Click OK. Okay, the index you have to make it 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, whatever the path, the folder path slash combination of folder path and file name dot extension, so that I'm going to put inside into this file path every time. So for the first execution, what it will take the fully qualified path, so this folder path slash emp.xlsx, right? One iteration is over. In this, that value is coming into this variable. In the second iteration, again it will come into take the total fully qualified folder path and slash emp1.xls. So in this way it will keep that values, each value into this variable. Similar like ADO enumerator, we have keep all the names, employee names one by one into that particular variable in the variable mappings, and that variable we are going to display into script task, right? So we did like that. The same way here also I'm going to put into this file path variable, right? Click OK. So what I'm going to do here, so we have to load the data from Excel sheet to a table. So for that I'm going to take one data flow task. I'm going to take one data flow task. So if you're coming to inside the data flow task, so what is our source system? Our source is Excel file, right? Right. So I'm going to connect to this Excel connection. Click here, browse it. Where you have keep desktop, source, and inside the source we have this file. Okay, you can browse any of one file. Open, click OK, and I'm going to save. I'm going to take the sheet name is sheet 1. If you want to preview this, you can preview it. Click OK. Got it? Right. So whenever you are taking the data from Excel source, so you have to convert that data type. For example, if there is any string data type, that means, so whatever the data is coming from your Excel sheet, always that is a Unicode string data type, right? Unicode string data type. So in what situations we have to convert this Unicode string data type? So basically varchar data type is a non-Unicode data type. Nvarchar is a Unicode data type. If your target data type, for example in the employee table, the employee name column target data type is Nvarchar data type, that means Unicode, and that Excel data also Unicode. No need to convert the data type. But if your target table employee name column is a varchar data type, but the data is coming from this Excel is nvarchar data type, that is Unicode data type. So in that situation, we have to convert the data type by using data conversion transformation. Where is the data conversion transformation? This is the data conversion, right? So you have to link up this one. Click here, and which column I am going to convert? This is the employee name, because this is the only string data type. So if you see, this is a Unicode string, so I'm going to convert this Unicode string into string data type. Click OK, and now I'm going to load this data into one SQL Server table, that is OLEDB destination connection. You have to connect here, double click, and already you have created this connection. Okay, if you want to create a new connection for the data source connection, so you can create new one. Okay, already I'm going to use this one. Okay, right. So here you have to select in which table you are going to load this data. Right, I'm going to load this data into EMP/SSIS. Okay, right. So you have to map the data, right? So if you, for example, if you are mapping this employee number with this employee number column, so the data is loaded into employee number, and this employee name, salary, but you have converted the employee name into non-Unicode data type, right? So that column you have to map here. Okay, click OK. So why this error is coming? Truncation may occur due to inserting data, right? The truncation means after you are converting the data type of the employee name column, you have making this length is 255, but your target table length is only 100. So you can make it this one also 100. Okay, right. Still it is showing. I can take some more less. I don't know. Okay, you forget it. It's not an issue. Okay, that is just a warning. Okay, right. So if you are executing this container, what will happen? So this execute SQL task, this data flow task will execute how many times? 3 times, because you have 3 files here, and it has to load 3 files information into that table, right? So I'm going to, first I will check out whether the data is existing in that particular table or not. Select star from emp underscore ssis. Okay, right. So before loading this data, I'm going to truncate this one. Truncate table emp underscore ssis. Got it? See, I don't have any data, so I'm going to load the data into that table. So I'm going to execute, right click and execute. Okay, right. So we'll check how many rows are inserted. See, this is one sheet, and this is one sheet, this is one sheet. If you observe, so the first sheet it is loading 3 times. It is loading the first sheet 3 times. It is not loading these 2 sheets. Okay, the reason is, so you are specifying here you see the connection, this Excel connection source, that is Excel connection manager, right? So if you are coming to that Excel connection manager, where is that? This Excel connection. So here you are specifying emp.xlsx. So always it is taking this file name only. So that's why it is looping 3 times. It is looping 3 times, but it is taking only the data of emp.xlsx, because so the value you are storing in this variable, but in this connection you are not passing that Excel file path dynamically, right? So if you are giving instead of a static value, so this fully path static value, if you are passing the value like whatever the value fully qualified path you are saved in some variable, right? That is file path variable, file path variable. So that variable if you are passing here, then it will replace each time. First it is emp.xls and next one emp1.xlsx and emp2.xlsx. Got it? Right. So what I am going to do here, I want to pass this file connection dynamically from that variable. So for that you have to right click and go to properties here, okay, and go to expressions. So in that expression take Excel file path. So for this Excel file path I am going to pass the value from variable. Which variable? File path variable. Where is that file path variable? Did you find anywhere? We'll see what exactly that variable name. That is file path, right? Right. Expression Excel file path. We'll check that variable one by one. Is there any file path variable? Why I am not finding? Okay, right. So I'm going to write down this is a file path variable. Why I am not finding that variable? We'll check. No, where is that file path variable? Right. So we have created that in the scope of this for each loop container, right? Right. So I'm going to variables. Right, so in this level the scope we have created is in this level. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to delete this. Now I'm going to create one variable. So already we have discussed about the scope of variables, right? So this is a string, right? So now we can able to see, go to here, Excel file path. Under these variables you can file path variable, okay, click OK, and you have to make the delay validation property as to true. So what exactly this delay validation property? So this delay validation means, so whenever you are creating any SSIS packages, so at the time of designing, at the time of development of this SSIS packages, so these SSI integration services engine is trying to find it is trying to validate the whatever the configurations you have given. So here you have given this Excel file path is a dynamically you are going to pass some from variable, right? So in this variable right now we don't have any value because until it is starting the execution, the fully qualified path is not coming to this variable. So that variable value you are going to pass here, right? You are going to assign this value. So if you see, after you are putting that variable value, it is not finding any Excel file path because we are going to pass this Excel file path from each iteration by using that variable, right? Dynamically it will take the for each file. So if you are making that delay validation false means, so it will trying to validate this Excel file path initially at the before the execution. Once the execution is started, the Excel file path will come here. For each iteration it will change the path name. first one emp, next one emp1, and next one emp2. Okay, right. So that's why we are making delay validation. If you are not making the delay validation property true, it will give some error. Okay, right. Now I'm going to execute. Before I'm going to execute, I want to truncate this data. I don't have any data right now. So if you are executing this one, so you have to make this delay validation also true for the data flow task also. Right click, execute. Right, it is getting failure. What is the reason? It is not yet started, right? Yes, you will see the error. Right. So sometimes in SSIS that errors are coming like this way. Okay. So in that situations, I think the data is deleted, but it is showing a kind of error. We'll check here. So it is executing only one file and it is stop that file. So what is the reason? Is there any difference between the file structures? This file having employee number, employee name, salary, and this file having employee number, employee name, salary, same, right? Right. So why it is getting failure? So if I'm going to execute one more time, we'll see only 4 rows are coming. Initially it is giving 3 files loading 3 times, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to recreate one more time. So in these kind of scenarios, you just delete that one and create once again, right? So I don't require any sequence container right now. Okay, I'm going to use for each loop container and one data flow task inside. And I'm going to configure this for each loop container. The collection is for each file enumerator, and the folder path is this one, and the file type is xlsx, and fully qualified path I'm going to take, and variable collections I'm going to use file path. Click OK. Okay, and come to this here, and Excel source data conversion OLEDB destination. That Excel connection I'm going to take. I'm going to take new connection. Sheet 1. These are the list of the columns. The data conversion. This I am going to convert into string data type, that is non-Unicode, and this is my target, and which table EMPSSI I am going to load, and this column I want to map here. Click OK. Right. So I want to make this connection as a dynamic, right? So what is that connection? Excel connection manager 1. So this connection I want to make it dynamic. Excel file path and the variables. Click OK, and delay validation property you have to make it true. Okay, I'm going to execute this one. Okay, For this one also delay validation true. Right click, execute the container. Right, again it is giving error. So what is the error exactly? So that external columns for the component, no, this is the error. That red marks are the error. Component Excel source failed validation and return validation status vs need metadata. Okay, right. So this is not in a big error. Okay, so what I am suggesting you guys, so you can try to create the same structure and same process. Okay, try to execute from your end. Okay, if you are not getting, if you are getting that same error, then we'll see tomorrow. Okay, so this is the way you have to load the data. Okay, I will explain you one more time with successful green symbols tomorrow session. Okay.